Good afternoon, back with you today, October 9th, 2020 recap. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a bit of a choppy week. We're down overall. This week we're down $3,000, so it's been a pretty bad week for us. Just a lot of overtrading, not cutting losses quick enough, a little bit of riding off the hype of last week's profits. I'm not going to bother going through every single trade with you. There's been, like I said, a lot of overtrading. I'm going to go over the lessons that you can learn from those so that you don't repeat them. And that's what makes us real. We don't just post all of our wins. We also show you when we're not doing well, and I'm going to go through that today. But on the flip side, this is the sort of stuff that makes me happy when I see things like this. So, Christian has been working with us for about 2.5 months in our in-person consultations, and he made like $1,200 US in 43 minutes, and it's getting messages like this that kind of keep us going and keep us inspired to keep giving back to the community and helping those that want to help themselves. So, congratulations, Christian. Here's a outline of his trades. He's working with Scotia iTrade, so this is what that looks like. Of course, due to his privacy, I'm just blocking out all of his order numbers. But you can see this is AGE, and this would have been on October 8th. He was trading this. The first trade he took was a bit of a loss, but he cut his losses quickly. Good job, Christian, for staying disciplined. I'm proud to see that. And then because he stayed disciplined, he was able to align himself to capitalize on AGE and, 268 to 310, 351 to 379. Good job, $1,200. Really proud to see that. Um, and on the other hand, Sebastian, he's been working extremely hard. Sebastian goes and drives Uber so he can pay for his courses. That's how committed he is to getting through our course. And nice to see he's up $495 this week. Good job, Sebastian. I'm proud to see your progress. Really nice to see this sort of stuff, guys. Keep up the good work. On the flip side, we have our group chat that would just finish their 3-day weekend power seminar that we did on October 3rd. And already guys are seeing the light. Michael, he used paper trading, just getting used to how this all works. Got an OPTT. This will be on Wednesday. I guess it's October 7th, not October 6th. October 7th, Wednesday. Good job, Michael. Nice 15%. Dave. Made a nice $225 in OPTT on a nice comfortable 500 shares. So this is really nice to see. And this is the other thing I want to talk about. Look at the community we've got here. So this is our VIP group chat. These are the guys that are currently working with us from the airline sector. They've been laid off due to the world economics that we're currently going through. And look how committed they are every single morning. This is a reflection on Thursday morning. They're logging in, they're saying good morning to each other, supporting one another, tracking each other's trades, learning off of one another. Christian, good job here. In at 218, out 240 on Thursday. Kieran in out 215, out at 270. So, this stuff works. I've just been really busy and just really, really undisciplined in my trading. So that's why I'm down, and I deserve to be down, to be quite honest. It is what it is. But reset for next week and see how it goes. But I wanted to talk about today a little bit and some really good lessons that one can take away from the trades and how to spot a setup. I was actually going over this recap with one of my clients this afternoon, and he asked a really good question, asking me, how do you prepare for a spike like this as opposed to, a spike like this? How do you get ready for these spikes? And you can't really prepare for something, say, like this, because this is random, and I'll show you to you why it's random. But something like this on VVPR that runs from 1560s all the way up to 24, of course, you can't predict how far it's going to go, but the spike is predictable, and the reaction to buying this stock is also fairly straightforward. So let me kind of show you what it is that you could do in live action to form these setups. So it's required of me to zoom into the chart and kind of take it back to where this all started. So As you start seeing, we have our SMA line, SMA 5 period line drawn right here. And at this point, it's clear, it's downtrending. You got the little peak right here, then it's downtrending. And then finally, we start forming higher highs on the SMA. You see this little red line right here compared to the red line down here. So this one's in the 1520s versus the 1505s. And then we're starting to form higher lows on the SMA as well, 1430s to the 1490s. So this is the potential for a trend reversal, right? We're forming higher highs and higher lows. So what we can do when we have a price action like this is connect the dots. So connect the highs, connect the lows on the bottom, and connect the highs. Okay, so we can take the highs right here. Okay, and try to draw it in a parallel fashion so that it's somewhat equidistant between the two lines. And as we kind of progress along this way, we can continue drawing our trend lines and adjusting them. Pardon me. Let me just draw this up right here and get it all adjusted. And this is something you can do continuously as the stock is moving up, and you can fine-tune your trend lines. And we can continue drawing this one up as well. Okay, still staying equidistant. And as we start seeing, we're starting to get the formation of a trend on the upside. This is a pattern 2. If you get into our courses, you'll learn that this is a pattern 2, and there's a specific way to trade this. And as this thing starts going up, you can continue drawing and extending the line. And something specific happens here. When the stock finally breaks out of your trend, which is right here at 11:52 a.m. on October 9th, this is a buy right here. This is the first time the stock is spiking away from the overall trend of the stock. You're forming higher lows, higher highs, and finally, with a rush of volume, you have a stock spike. This is an excellent purchase. Okay? And you can see that obviously this thing just starts running up and you can make some tremendous profits. Get in the 17s, sell maybe in the 20s, 21s. Of course, you're never going to call the absolute top, but there is a lot of money to be made here. So something to take away from a lesson on this, let me just bring up a calculator. Let's say if you bought in the 1770s, the goal is to make 10 to 15%. I guess 1750, not 70. Yeah, 1750. Times 1.15, you're selling in the 20s, which is right before the halt happened. And then another standard halt and gap up play, lots of pent-up demand, people getting out before the inevitable crash. And then the question typically becomes, at what point do you sell? Well, the moment you start getting an uptrend like this, now of course this is in hindsight, so we got to look at this in the live price action. So this is the moment that this is starting to spike. The next candle, or the next set of candles, you can start drawing a trend line. You can start drawing the new formation of the trend to see when you should be cutting your profits short. So as you see, the stock keeps moving up nice and comfortably along the trend line. Okay? And the moment, so you can keep extending this. I'm going to draw it all the way back up here. Okay? So this is the trend we're in. And then the moment the stock no longer follows the rule of the trend line and breaks that trend, it's time to get out. So here in the 21s, 22s, I guess you could keep holding it a little bit risky up here. But the moment right here, you see this line right here? You would have had your trend line drawn. The moment it takes out the trend line is you cut your profits. The stock is probably going to reverse, and it looks like it started doing exactly that. Okay? Slow downwards trend. So really, trend lines are not perfect sciences, okay, but use them to visualize when the stock is starting to change the trend. And if you learn to trade with the trend, then you're going to succeed in the markets, okay? If you get undisciplined and start kind of over trading and not cutting losses quick enough and not cutting profits when they're supposed to be cut, like I was doing this week, then you get with a deserved loss. Okay, so I'm really proud of all of my clients, all of my students that pulled off the fantastic week. It's funny, all of them are green on the week, and I'm red on the week. So this is Rene. He went through our Power Workshop, PFF Workshop over the weekend, and already he was able to answer some amazing trivia questions and get the questions and get the answers completely correct. So congratulations, Rene. we sent you $50 as well, and this is part of your motivation to keep studying and keep getting better. So congrats on answering all the questions right, Renee. Very happy to see that. Some of the trade students we're making today were on JE. Really proud of students to hear them do that. Beautiful uptrend right here. And how you would have caught this would have been on the after-hour spiker on October 8th, so that you would have caught this and been ready for it for October 9th. And the moment that it held this resistance in the morning, which was in the 650s, 660s, you could have had an excellent entry here for the D portion of the pattern. Or even wait for the pullback and trade the second portion of the pattern. A really nice run up from the 630s all the way up to the 850s. So congrats to all longs on this side who traded JE really well. The other kind of disappointment of the day was SNMP. Some students nailed it really well today, but this was a really hard trade to watch because you kind of went to this standard halt gap up and then just a complete fade type setup. Traditionally these stocks that consolidate between a channel, they are typically healthy for a morning spike. The moment they take out a previous high, they tend to run, especially if you have good news. Now, in this case, SNMP didn't necessarily have good news, but what they did have was a healthy SEC filing. So what we can take a look at right here is what they were actually doing. And you can see that the SP Common Equity Subsidiary LLC were acquiring, what were they getting at? They were getting a bunch of shares. Let's go down and take a look. Yeah, 4,650,000 shares are what they're getting assigned. So, it's no surprise that we were expecting a stock spike on Friday morning, potentially a squeeze. A lot of shorts were anticipated to be in this one, but it was a failed morning spiker. Instead of going up, it faded and came down. Some students nailed the dip buy right here and sold into the strength, so congrats to those guys. But overall, this is this is an overall red day. So not the best pattern to be long. This is an excellent short. Congrats to anybody who was shorting the stock as well. A lot of people were asking about my SOL trade today and kind of how I spotted that and how I traded it successfully. And that was just a related play off of VVPR. So coming into VVPR, you can go into stocks to trade here and look up related stocks. And how you can do that is you can just filter the price action right here. So let me just do that real quick for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're looking for 15% gainers. Market cap 300. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the related play to VVPR, SOL was one of the only stocks that popped up. So we got semiconductors with sub-industry of solar. SOL is a solar company, so we found that through the related tab on VVPR in Sympathy. And what a beautiful run up on SOL, right? Opened up in the 320s here and finished in the 430s. We're trading this in the afternoon on the afternoon squeeze. We were in here in the 382s. Sold a little bit quickly. Actually, we were in here in the 382 on the breakout and sold in this dip right here because it looked like a failed breakout. Not enough volume had come in yet. And then a few minutes later, the actual breakout occurred. And lots of volume had come in and ran the stock up. So again, what I mean this week, I'm breaking my rules. One of the number one rules I teach is not to buy the first breakout. I like to watch the first breakout create a U-shape, and any of my students and clients will comment on this, I'm sure. When you see the U-shape with a volume, that's where the breakout actually exists. So again, I break my own rules, getting impatient, getting frustrated with the losses this week, so not trading the best. Time for a bit of a reset. But this stuff works, okay? Forget the initial breakout, wait for the U-shape, get the confirmation, and get it on the second run. I talk about this all the time in my courses, and I get to pay the price when I don't follow my own rules. So excellent trade on SOL nonetheless. I did trade it later on as well in the 4s when this thing was up here. 396, I got it on this dip and sold it up here in the 410s, 415s. That's something else that's maybe worth talking about a little bit, and a little bit of an adjustment for a lot of us traders coming off the summer trading. It was a hot summer, and we were getting some crazy runs. And even in September around Battery Day with Tesla, we were getting some crazy runs. And we're just not getting those powerful runs anymore. We're getting some really good ones, like VVPR was good, but you'd have to be here midday to trade this. It wasn't happening in the morning or in the afternoon where you expected on a Friday. It was happening in the midday. So time to adapt, get used to it. And be a little more patient with these plays and look for the key indicators before buying a stock. Okay, the key indicators are watching for a trend, watching for a volume, buying off the spike of a volume, selling 10 to 15% higher, and to cut losses quickly if the stock is going against you. Okay, so these are the basic rules. I talk about them all the time. I talk about not breaking them. Again, I'm human too, so I break things. I make stupid mistakes, and this week was a really good week to reflect on how the greed pendulum can get out of balance. And that's actually something I want to finish on today, which I hope you can learn from for next week and take it forward with you. So basically, you're always dealing with a pendulum. And on that pendulum, you've got greed on one side and you have fear on the other side, okay? And the problem with this pendulum is that it's an ever revolving pendulum. It doesn't actually have a floor that it can touch as a limit. So typically when you start making a lot of good money, which was the case with us last week, your greed starts going up and the amount of fear that you have starts going down. And the problem with this is you potentially end up in a scenario where you're looking at a pendulum that's no longer actually a pendulum. It's just a straight vertical line where greed is trumping your fear, and you're not even paying attention to the fear anymore. And greed is directing and dictating all your trades. Human nature, okay? This is a conditioned response natural to all humans. So the problem with this is that you have to decouple the fear back up, increase your fear back up, so you can bring this plank back to an equilibrium so that you are dealing with an equilibrium greed versus fear plank, so that you are not out of balance and making stupid decisions. And vice versa. If you start making, or taking too many losses, your fear starts going up, your greed starts going down, and that's also not a good place to be in. You need to be in a psychological balance between fear and greed to consistently profit. Otherwise, you're going to be too bearish, you're not going to take enough action, or vice versa. You're going to be too bullish and not cutting your losses or not taking profits and end up getting crushed in the process. So I can't speak enough to this fear versus greed equilibrium. If you want to learn about the psychology of trading more, get into our courses. We'll teach you how all this stuff works, how to master it. We'll be upfront. We'll be real about our performance. We're also human. We have some amazing weeks. We have some horrible weeks. The net result is always upwards, and that's what we aim to do for you as well. Okay? So go ahead, leave a comment, ask any questions you got. We'll try to answer you. And have a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll see you over next week.